Welcome to the AM 1150 Garden Show this morning, and Ken Selville and Don Burnett here at your service to help you with all your plant issues and any other issues you have in life. Well, maybe not all the issues, but we can do our best for you. We'll do our best. Beautiful day. It's December, and it's getting close to Christmas, and hey, let's get on with the tips and plants of the week here.
You betcha, Don.
My tip of the week is follow some simple, important instructions when bringing in your cut Christmas tree. Make a fresh cut, taking about an inch off the butt of the tree. Then, after placing it in the stand, it should be plenty of capacity for water, and then fill it with very hot, if not boiling, water from the kettle. Add a teaspoon of bleach, that's Ken's tip always, and monitor for water intake. And don't let the water drop down below the butt. That's your tip of the week.
Yeah, very nice.
My plant of the week is Christmas trees. I mean,
there you go.
Dead plants, but we like to keep them alive for that short period of time before they finally succumb to everything else. Okay.
Very nice. Well, there you go. I also have a tip and a plant. My tip of the week is in regards to humidity. And now that the days are cooling down, we're getting this below freezing action, which is really not much. It's really quite nice, quite comfortable. But indoors, our houses are drying out. The heaters going more, especially the forced air heaters, are drying the air out a little bit. So anything you can do to just pump up the humidity around your house plants, it's always a benefit. It always makes the plants feel a little more comfortable. Now, my plant of the week this week is a type of orchid cactus that produces a beautiful, huge fruit. And I'd say huge, about the size of a mango. But it's called dragon fruit, and the dragon fruit plant is an orchid cactus, but just very, very cool plant. I happened to see them down at the supermarket the other day, and so I bought a couple and tried them, and they were yummy and delicious and very unusual, kind of unique, but really cool. I highly recommend dragon fruit. Give it a try. And I actually took some of the seeds out and grew them, and I've got little dragon fruit seedlings growing right now, so it's kind of fun. There you go. That's my tips and plants for this week. Remember to check KelownaGardens.com.
Well, Ken, that's very good. And just a thought, it's 2 o'clock tomorrow morning in Brisbane on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, and it's 20 degrees. Just to let you know.
Lovely. There you go.
And we're starting to get a little actually quite nice weather right now we're having. It's slightly below frost, freezing at night.
It's kind of normal right now. This is what we would call normal.
Normal, yeah. And we're, normal in the Okanagan to sort of say, is it going to be a white Christmas or is it not going to be a white Christmas? Because normally we live in a dry area. We get lots of snow and that, hopefully in the mountains, but we don't, snow is not regular.
It's not
guaranteed
sure,
here.
yeah.
You're not guaranteed snow, not guaranteed a white Christmas. However, we get more white Christmases than Vancouver does, and so our chances of getting a white Christmas are still there. And it always is nice to have a white Christmas, and then it's nice to melt about the 1st of January and get warm again.
Yep, I love to walk outside after a nice snowfall and listen to the silence, if that makes any sense. Listen to the silence, the way the snow absorbs sound.
Evening and a big, deep, fluffy snowfall.
There's something about that.
I know. Next time it happens, we should get together and sit there on our garden bench and enjoy the silence.
In the snow.
In the snow, yeah. And then it turns to slush, and then you have to,
Well, you never know what it's going to do. But last time it snowed pretty good. We got almost a foot of snow, I guess.
But I hear, we had just arrived in Brisbane when that happened.
Yeah, and it was just so beautiful. And then it got really cold, and then it all went away.
Well, it got cold enough to do something terrible to me, to my plants. I had dug my Acadanthra. Acidanthra, I guess. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that one. Acidanthra. It's in the gladiola family. Mm-hmm. Fabulous summer blooming plant. And I had dug them prior to going away. In late October, I dug these things, and they were looking good. They were solid. They were just great. And I put them underneath my deck, and I forgot about them, and I went to Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Ken, they're not as hardy as a gladiola.
Minus 12, no. I don't
Not
think.
as hardy as a gladiola, and they got nailed, and they're just mush now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so bad. It's so sad. That little plant is so pleasurable in the summer. Very fragrant, very dainty. And
that's a fall bulb, is it? Or can you
it
buy them
blooms-
in the spring?
You buy them in the spring. Oh, yeah, you buy
So
them
it's
in
a
the spring.
spring
It's a
bulb.
summer blooming bulb. It's one of those summer blooming bulbs.
Right.
Like the various...
glads.
The glads, yeah, gladiolas you buy in the spring. And, but they won't... I've seen gladiolas survive the winter in the ground with a little bit of mulch. I've seen them survive the winter, but not these. These obviously will not survive any kind of solid frost because they're just mush. And, it's sad because what my plan was, of course, was to put a bunch in the greenhouse and force them. And it would make the greenhouse so fragrant because it's got this beautiful, subtle fragrance to them. But that's not going to happen this year because nobody...
You can't
garden
buy them now.
Garden centers don't have them on the shelf yet. They'll have them in mid-January, perhaps, or February. They'll probably get them in.
Yeah.
And I will buy some then. And speaking of the greenhouse, things are looking good, Ken. I've got tomatoes starting to ripen now. My dream, my goal of having ripe tomatoes at Christmas is going to come to fruition. I probably won't have any large tomatoes. They're not looking like they're going to be ripe for Christmas, but my grape tomatoes are all starting to ripen up, and they look great. I've planted a bunch of seeds that I've had kicking around, including some seeds from my father. Dad, in his later years, he had a little greenhouse as well. And he had an accumulation of seeds in a bucket. And I had that bucket sitting in my shop for all these years. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to just do a germination test on everything in that bucket and see if it's viable. It's going to be interesting to see. It's not the end of the world if nothing is viable. But it's also going to be interesting to see seeds that have been stored since 2002 and actually probably since about 1997.
Yeah.
So that's 20 years. See which seeds are viable. See what's coming. It'd be kind of fun because they haven't been stored in any particular way. They've just been...
that test. Do the test where you put 10 in.
Well, that's what I've done. I got a bunch of
10s.
1201 packs, and I'm doing that test. So there
It's
you
nice.
go.
If you put 10 seeds in and then 2 of them don't germinate, well, you've got 80% germination.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And some seeds just last and last and last.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go to the phone lines, and we invite your calls, 250-862-2525, to get through to us today on the AM 1150 Garden Show, and we'd like to say good morning to Vicki. Good morning, Vicki.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question for you. I had a jade tree, and it was maybe a foot tall, and it had the one with the round leaves, like thumbnail kind of leaves. And I forgot to bring it in, not this year, but last winter. So it was outside all winter, and it got frozen solid. And it was in the corner of the garden. I never even paid any attention to it. So I was going to throw it out this fall when I was cleaning up, and I noticed one little tiny green spot on the trunk. So I thought, maybe it didn't die. I was sure it froze to death. So anyway, I brought it in, and it started growing, and it now has jelly bean-shaped leaves that are quite long. Some of them are about 2 inches long, some are about an inch long. They're all different lengths, but it's just covered in these beautiful, long, skinny, like your little finger-sized leaves.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what happened there.
Well, it may or may not be a jade plant that has come back. It might be something different. But what I would suggest you do is take some photographs of that up close and email them to either myself or Dawn, so ken@KelownaGardens.com. And just email them to me, and then I can have a look at that and just see what's going on. There's always a possibility because jade plants are like a subtropical plant. They're not actually tropical, but they're subtropical. And they can survive in the desert sometimes quite severe cold and tough conditions.
Right.
But they do normally, completely go to mush and die down, but little parts of them may come back. Last winter was a pretty brutal winter, so I'm kind of sort of doubting that, but you never know.
It's like a miracle, Vicky.
It actually broke the pot. It was so cold, the pot was actually broken. So I just lifted out and stuck it in another pot that fit it and brought it into the house because I just saw this little tiny, I don't even know how I noticed it. It was like a pinhead.
Yeah. Well, this could be a Christmas miracle.
I'm very happy with it. It's growing beautifully.
Well, definitely send us pictures because usually the little plants that would come on could be like jelly bean shaped leaves, but not too long. Sometimes plants like jade plants and things are grown in a group of succulents in greenhouses. And in those groups of succulents, you might have a bunch of different species of succulents that are there. And some of them are actually fairly prolific seeders. So it's possible that some seeds may have also got into there and they've germinated and grown. So you have possibly a distant relative of the jade plant. So this is why we want to make sure that we identify what's going on there.
It is the actual plant because what I had was a skeleton.
Yeah.
And with no leaves or anything on it. And suddenly now it's the same trunk and branches, but now it's covered in these jelly-bean-shaped leaves.
We're both sitting here bewildered, and you have tweaked our interest. We'd love to have pictures. Send one to Ken and myself. You can send at dawn@thegardenexpert.com. I'd love to see a picture.
So are you at the garden shop? Because I'll tell you, I'm not very computerized. I've got a picture of it on my phone because I was showing it to someone because I was shocked. Is there somewhere I can bring it and show you the picture?
You could bring it to my home in Kelowna on Rhonda Crescent, or you can just text it to us.
You can find any young person. Just walk up and go, how do I send this?
Yeah, you could on your phone. You can text it to Ken or I, or both.
Oh, okay. I can text it to you.
If you text it to 250 878 6878.
6878.
And I'll make sure Ken gets a copy.
Okay, I'll send it right now.
Awesome.
Oh, hey, that's even better. You're getting with it, I'll tell you.
Technology.
Yeah, Vicky, you know what you're doing. Thank you.
I can text, but I can't do anything else.
Okay, well, you're doing well. Yeah, you betcha.
Okay.
That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Bye.
So, yeah, it's very, very interesting, isn't it? How plants want to survive. And they, jade plants, maybe this is part of their bark or something. You know how you can take a piece of a giant redwood tree and just take a chunk of bark and put it in a bowl of water and the thing bursts into growth and starts to grow like a whole forest of little giant redwood trees. Yeah. It's a fascinating world out there, and we're always learning, and something that after a winter like last year, though, you never think.
I think she's created a GMO jade.
Yeah, well, it's definitely genetically modified, I guess.
Something's going on. Something is going on.
Anything that is reproduced is genetically modified.
It'll be fun. Consider I lost my Acidanthera.
Well, it's where that's a South African plant, I think, or African, somewhere in Africa.
The jade's got to be a or tropical anyway. It may not be subtropical.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It's Crassula family.
Crassula,
right?
Yeah. What we'll do is maybe look up the zone on it. Anyway,
or where it came from, right? If it came from Arizona,
that's right.
In Arizona area, there's cacti there that just freeze sometimes.
Yeah, well, I
had a -7 when I was down there last time.
Yeah, I've got a collection of cacti that comes through the winter. Came through last winter just fine.
Yeah,
right outside in the pots.
Boy, they're tough.
Yep. 250-862-2525 to get through to Ken and I today. And we've got a garden show to do, and we'll be back with more AM 1150 Garden Show.
All right, we are back. Welcome back to the AM 1150 Garden Show. And we just were talking, we got the text.
Yeah, we got your text, Vicki, and we're still a little bit confused, but beautiful plant. Good for you. Can I have a cutting for my greenhouse? No, it's really a beautiful plant. We're going to figure out what it is, I hope. And
it's not actually what you'd classify as a jade plant. It could be a crassula, one of the crassula families, but it's definitely a succulent of some type.
It's a succulent. Yeah, it's got a similar stem and stalk to the jade, and a similar succulent leaf, except it's formed a little differently. And you probably, I think Ken might have something there when he said that a little chunk of something that was grown along beside the jade plant in the nursery or something like that.
But she was saying it's grown it's like an actual piece of the stem where it's growing from. Unless,
very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Here's the test, of course. Here's the test.
Yep.
Grow one in the garden next year. Take a piece and root it in the garden. In fact, after you've taken a piece off and given to me for my greenhouse, I can do the same thing, and we can work on this and just leave it outside, leave a piece of it outside in the garden over the winter and see what happens. Be fascinating because you've tweaked our interest, Vicky. There's always an answer to these things. We always can have an answer. And Ken and I have always, both of us, that's why we relate to each other so much. When we see little things like this, we'll spend more time than we should.
Plant identification. Yeah. I know we had somebody that lots of people email me pictures of plants and things to identify. And in a lot of times, all I get is a picture of the flower.
Yeah.
And it makes it is usually the identification comes via the flower, the fruit, the seeds, but you got to have at least something, some sort of a stem or a branch or something, just so you know the habit of the plant, because the habit of the plant is going to tell you a lot about at least what direction to look in, right? Yeah. And this is a great picture because it's showing the plant looks like it's about maybe 15 inches tall or so, and
darn healthy plant too.
It looks really nice and healthy,
very good.
So, but it's a succulent of some sort, and that's we'll have to get to the bottom of this one.
Let's have some fun, Vicky. We'll make sure we figure out what it is. Yep. And we got a buddy, Dan Bruce, that can maybe help us too. He's pretty good at that kind of stuff. Okay, 250-862-2525 to get through to us today, and a little update on the greenhouse again. Things are looking pretty good. I've got these seeds. I had a package of what they call Russian purple peas. And they had been given to me or my dad or somebody. It just had them around. They were dry little balls, size of a pea, but they were smooth. They weren't indented like a pea is, when it shrivels up. These smooth little balls. Be darned if they're not coming up. They're the first things that's starting to germinate now. Those things are pushing,
Yep.
And they've been sitting in a bag in my office for years and years and years. So that's kind of fun. So we'll plant some of those in the garden next year. That was the test. Also, my hibiscus and my Gerber daisy and things like that, they're just happy in my greenhouse. And my cardboard palm, which is one of the cycads that is from the era of the dinosaurs, one of the eras of the dinosaurs. Along with the sago palm and other cycads, the cardboard palm never has been happy in the house. I've had it for 15, 18 years, and it just puts on a leaf, and then that leaf dies, and a new one comes on, and it's been a lot of fun. But hopefully it's going to love the greenhouse, and it's starting to push a little tiny shoot now. So we'll see. Anyway, Ken, give us an update on the crassula, the jade that we're dealing with here.
Well, we're not 100% sure, but
that looks like it.
It does look like it. We've got a few pictures that pop up when we type in botanical name crassula.
Yeah, but
we'd have to see that up close.
Close, Ken. Close. That's. I mean, we're looking at it as close, but maybe not quite a cigar yet.
Oh yeah, it's more pointy on the tips of the leaves.
On the tips of the leaves. Yeah.
We're working on it. We're working on it right here.
You betcha. We're working on it as we speak. This high technology we have here with our cell phones and our computer, and oh my goodness, Sean's impressed. He's giggling actually. He's quite impressed with the old boys. sitting here with their computers and their cell phones and figuring it all out. 250.
You guys are doing pretty well.
Thanks, Sean. 250-862-2525 to get through to us today. Not next week, but the week after, the 23rd, I think it is. The 23rd, right? That's when we're going to have our Christmas show. Just 2 days before Christmas. It's appropriate.
2 weeks.
2 days before Christmas, we're going to have a Christmas show.
Yep.
And we're going to play some of my dad's music. We're going to this year going to play some of my music too. I'm going to pick a tune that would be appropriate, maybe from our 2000 CD or something like that.
Oh, Christmas tree.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a Christmas song. I don't think we do, but we certainly will play one Strange Movies Blues Band song. And also just we're going to have some guests on. We're going to see if we can get Valdi on the line again, and Brian Minter, and
you never know who.
You never know.
Kid Jensen.
Kid Jensen, wouldn't that be fun for him to phone in?
Yeah.
But he might be out of the time zone, So anyway,
that's true.
And what else? The Northwest Flower and Garden Show. We've got to fill a bus, and we've got lots on the bus already. But if you want to be on the bus with us down to the States, in Seattle, to the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, then I would suggest that you do something here, and that is to give the Sun Fun Tours a call, and that gives you a ticket. You can buy a ticket on the bus with Ken and I to go down to Seattle and see the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. If you've been there, you know what it's all about. And every year it changes. So if you've been there once or twice, then maybe it's time you went on it again and have some fun. If you've never been on it, then hey, what's wrong with you? You better get going and get on the bus with us. Reasonable price. It's not like a trip to Europe or a trip to China or something. It's a reasonable price in that $600 range for 4 days of fun and games, and you can enjoy yourself like crazy. This year, I'm going to actually buy a few plants, Ken. I'm going to buy some orchids. I'm going to
nice.
do it properly, get through
hundreds of types of orchids there.
Yeah. I want to buy some orchids because I'm making this orchid rack for the greenhouse. And then I'm going to have it so you can dismantle it and take it out, and I'm going to put it under my pergola when I have it built. So I'll enjoy that too. I just got such a kick out of the staghorn ferns hanging off the trees. Huge 4-foot wide staghorn ferns hanging off the trees in Australia. That I want to get a staghorn fern. You own one, don't you?
No.
Oh, you don't. You used to.
Over the years, yeah.
But you don't have a greenhouse now, so you can't.
That's right. Yeah, they require humidity.
Yeah, they like
for sure.
Like
yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, 250-862-2525 to get through to us. If you want to get on the bus to Seattle, you want to give them a call at Sun Fun Tours. They're just over here on Tutt Street, beside Raymer School there, and their phone number is 250-763-6133. 250-763-6133. Give them a call. Say, we want to get on the bus with Ken and Dawn to go to the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, and there you go. We're gonna do it again. This is the 14th year we've been doing this, Ken, and so
a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
I've got a shocker for you, Don.
Ooh.
This is something, I don't know if you were aware of this, but did you know that CD Saturday of 2018 is going to be on a Sunday?
CD Sunday.
CD Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a shocker.
It is a bit of a shocker, isn't it?
Not too shocking. It'll be all right. I mean,
it's only a day away.
You can adjust.
Oh, for
Better
sure.
than CD Wednesday.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be at the Parkinson Rec Center this year.
Oh, right on. That's a good venue, too, for that kind of thing. Nice big room. And
good parking and all that. Yeah, you bet. So we'll see, and as it approaches, we'll be giving you more information, but it's something to be aware of. It's always in March, and I did give the date out. Now I've forgotten the date, but I'll look it up, and we'll make sure that we keep up with that information as we go along, but it's something to watch for sure.
I'm going to see what I can do, get out to that one again this year, and see what kind of seedy seeds I can buy.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable. All the vendors that come out and the different types of seeds and
Garlic.
And, all kinds of things. And the worm castings. We had Bud that came out, Bud O'Connell from the worm farm there, and he was teaching people there at the CD Saturday last year all about the vermiculture and about that sort of thing. So he's going to be back, I believe. And, so it's going to be a fun event.
Ken, let's look forward to that one. And on that note, we're going to have to take a short break, and we invite your calls, 250-862-2525. We'll be back with more AM 1150 Garden Show. Oh, Ken and I are having fun. We're looking at plants from Australia.
Plants. Look
Australian
at that,
plant pictures. Kind of fun, and just trying to guess the name. Now, I just got a text in from our buddy Vicky. It's just okay. Going to bring it to town. Sure, Vicky. If you can bring it to town today, I'll text you back and give you my address. And and we'll just hook up. I do have to go out on a call after the garden show, but
keep it covered if you take it out in this.
Keep it covered, and don't leave it if I'm not there. But we'll make sure I'm there. We'll hook up. Okay, Vicky, thank you for that. It'd be kind of fun, and Ken and I'll try and figure that one out for you. Yeah. And to figure it out for ourselves too, because you've tweaked our interest about that. So just remember, we do have frost in this country, and there's some things you have to remember in the fall to do. And I dug my little Acidanthra, but I didn't protect it, and it is mush now. So that can happen to any of those bulbs like dahlias, or that's not a bulb, but any bulbs or roots or whatever you're going to bring through, dahlias, gladiolas, begonias, any of those things that are summer
especially
bloom.
When you dig them up. If you would have left them in the ground, they would
have survived, and then I could have dug them out when I got back. But I dug them out before, thinking, I better dig these out because they could freeze.
And then left them sitting on the surface.
And I left them underneath the deck, and I thought, under the deck that'd be fine. But the frost came so quickly after we left. Mm-hmm. I mean, we left on the 2nd of November, and the 3rd of November the frost came.
Yeah.
So
we had a high there where the high was -7, I think, that one day. So you had a duration, a really good solid freeze.
Froze them solid.
Yep. And
you betcha.
Then it went away.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm telling people. Let's get back onto the Christmas trees a little bit. There's lots of different Christmas trees out there. One of my favorite places, of course, is Ted Corbett's farm up in Upper Bench in Rutland, Black Mountain area. I can't help but say my favorite is still Abe's conkeler, the conkeler fir, the blue soft needle long fir. I mean, and the noble fir is another one, another nice one. I know you.
And the Fraser fir.
The Fraser firs are good.
I love the fragrance. Any of those fir families are just so fragrant. I love it.
Yeah, and then the Grand fir is nice as well. So so we're going to just go right back to the phone lines, and we have who else? Oh, we've got Addie. Hey, Addie, Merry Christmas, Addie.
Good morning. Merry Christmas to you guys too. Are you all ready and done your shopping and everything?
I don't shop. I build stuff in my workshop. I don't think I've ever bought in the last 20 years I've bought a Christmas present.
Really? And Donna's quite happy with that.
I make her stuff.
Oh, I see.
I make her something. Yeah, I make her stuff.
Great. Well, that's even better.
Oh yeah, no, I make something in my workshop for her.
Okay, my canna lilies. They're still in big pots outside. I haven't taken them out of the pots or anything. Are they going to overwinter or are they going to freeze? Well,
you better check them because of that frost we had, Addie. We were just talking about that. I lost all those corms, they're to me they'd be a little hardier than your cannas. Cannas are very non-hardy. You should check them out right now. Get them inside and see if they're soft and mushy, because I've got a feeling if you left them outside during that frost that Ken's talking about, they're going to be mushy and done.
Oh, yuck. You're kidding, really.
I'm not kidding.
I forgot all about them. You know what? I moved them to the back of the shed, and I forgot all about them. So.
Well, the back of the shed, inside, covered like that?
No, not inside the shed. Outside, not covered up, nothing. Just
well, you'll tell right now, because if they froze, they'll be just mush. They'll be soft, and they won't be hard.
So if I brought them into the shed, would that help them any?
Well, if they're mush, it's not going to help them.
No, but I mean, I'm not. See, they're in big pots, and in order for me to find out if they're mushy, I have to.
You have to thaw them.
The pot.
Yeah, right now they're probably lightly frozen. So when they thaw, the outer part's got to thaw, and then once they thaw, you can kind of dig them out a bit. Yeah. And the tops of the plants might be mushy, and underneath you might have some good roots underneath. So you might have to dig them out and have a look at them. But if they're, once they turn rotten, that's it. Yeah.
Bring it in, as Ken said. Bring the whole pot in, let it thaw out, so you can dig your canna out of there, and just see if you've got any hard left in there. If there's anything part of that root that's solid, that might be viable. But other than that, it's probably going to be mush.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My other question is my Brumansia. I brought it into the house to treat it as a house plant, and of course it's absolutely growing like mad.
Yep.
But should I be fertilizing it?
It doesn't really need much right now. They'll grow like mad, but the key is actually to try to slow them down, because our indoor heat is a little too warm for them in a way. They just like to be a bit cooler, but bright light, and check for insects every day. Every time you go by the plant, just look closely underneath the leaves. If you see any insects on them, you just wipe it off with a little cloth, and that'll get rid of them. But just keep an eye on them for that, and let them go fairly dry between waterings. And I wouldn't be encouraging them to grow too much at this time of year. Better to keep them a bit on the dry side and kind of keep them going slow. And then, start fertilizing once you're into probably close to the end of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about houseplants? Do I fertilize my houseplants at all? I have just a few now. I've somehow accumulated houseplants. I'm not really in favor of houseplants, but somehow or other I've accumulated. When you move from one place to the other, your friends all think they should give you a houseplant.
And they're all listening here, Addie, so
I was just going to say they're probably all listening. What am I going to do with these houseplants?
Well, enjoy them, for heaven's sakes. We all love houseplants.
I'm enjoying them immensely, but see, that's just it. I don't want to kill them, so I'm just wondering, how often should I fertilize the houseplants?
Well, you don't need too much over the winter, as Ken was saying. That's not a big deal. I mean, there's low light, and there's not a lot of activity going on in the plant, but keep them as well lit as possible, depending on the plant, of course, but most plants would be wanting as much light as possible, whether it's some artificial light accompanied by natural light through a window. Mm-hmm. Don't keep them too wet. Always, in general, let them go a little dry. Ken came up with a thing, letting the leaves on some of these plants, not all of them, but some of them, let the leaves flag a little bit, which is very cool terminology there.
Wilt
slightly.
Just slightly.
It's better to say flag, because when you tell people wilt, they wait till they're
dead.
Wilt is a panic word.
Yeah.
You might want to either send us a picture of what you've got there, and then we can give you a little more information. Or if you've got all the botanical names of all your house plants, which by now you should have, Addie. You should have all the botanical.
No, that's outside plants. I've never been really. I've had 3 house plants in my that one of them was, you didn't need to look after it at all. It was a Sophora, and it's doing great. And I've never fertilized it, no matter what. I've never fertilized it. Mm-hmm. But I'm just wondering if I should give some of them like a 20-20-20 right now, once a month.
You can, but
it doesn't hurt them much. But again, encouraging them to grow isn't always the best thing, and sometimes that will slightly encourage them to grow.
And I can tell you this: one of the reasons why your Chiflora is doing so well is because you haven't been fertilizing it and building up the salt content. Because salts are the biggest killer of houseplants, and if you fertilize too much and don't leach enough, you're going to end up with a salt buildup, and that'll kill your houseplant.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So maybe just always think of that from around the end of February until around the end of October, That's a time when you're in regular growth mode, and then in between times, so November through till the end of February, you don't do much with plants. You keep them a little bit drier than normal, keep them in the bright light, and wait to get through the winter. And then once you get through that winter and the days get longer, you're good to go and start getting back on track.
Addie, we're going to have to move. We're going to have to go.
Super.
We got.
Thanks a lot,
Appreciate
guys.
your
Have a
call.
nice weekend.
Yeah,
Okay, take
Merry
care.
Christmas. Bye-bye.
And good morning, Dennis. You're on line 2. You're on the air.
Good morning, Don and Ken.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas to you.
All the best to you.
Thank you. I just got a question about pine cones. Can I grind them up and use them in my compost bin?
Why not?
Yeah,
If you can grind them up nice, they'll rot down in the compost. Yeah, they're
They
fine.
won't. I've got an awful lot of them, so they won't get too. The pile won't get too acidic, or.
No, there shouldn't be any issue with that. But the thing that you remember is that these are like, it's like wood shavings. It's the same concept. So when you grind it up, the finer you grind it, the quicker it starts to break down. It's mostly like a cellulose type of product, so it doesn't have much nutrient in it. In order for it to compost, it needs something else with it. So you want to mix it with your other compostables.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Lawn clippings will eat it up real quick, but, obviously you don't have that now. But in the spring, you can get back on track and get to go.
Oh, okay, that's great.
And Dennis, it's not going to add any acidity to your soil. As a matter of fact, if it does, it's a good thing, because we need acidic soil here because we have such an alkaline situation.
Oh, that's fabulous to know.
Yeah.
Good. I hate getting rid of any of my yard waste. I try and compost pretty much everything.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing. And people do, we don't throw that stuff out anymore. We put it in our green bin, but still...
I don't use the green bin either. I don't I just use everything in the yard.
Good for you.
That's
good
very
for you.
cool. Yeah, way to go.
And actually, I'll just tell you a little story. I haven't watered my grass in... probably 10 years, like direct watering. It might get a little tiny bit from the flower beds, but other than that, and it's green. It's a different kind of shade of green, but it's green.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I let it grow long in the hot times, and I don't dare cut it until it starts to cool off, or there's a sign of rain. And
Good for you. Well, that's good. Good plant husbandry there. The fact is, you've probably got a good base, either by choice or by luck. You've got a really good base there because in some situations, grass will just not survive if it's not watered, if it doesn't have a good base. And you've probably got a decent base there going on.
You've trained it, too.
Yeah,
and it's also trained.
I've trained it, yes. I put a sand base down, and it's also over the septic field, so that helps.
Dennis, you've hit her on the nose. That sand base, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you're remembering that grasses are prairie plants. They live on the prairies, so they understand the whole concept of getting dry and going through periods of drought. So they're fabulous at surviving, but you gotta let them go through those periods to almost remind them of where they came from.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not babying your lawn like everybody else does. That's good.
Gee, no. Like I say, and when I do cut it, I don't cut it short at all.
Yep.
So,
Dennis, we're going to have to move on. We appreciate your call.
Okay,
thanks, sir.
Have a great holiday season.
You as well.
You too. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
And we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more AM 1150 Garden Show. With you on the AM 1150 Garden Show. We got a few minutes left before the break at 9 o'clock. And, so it's 250-862-2525 for you to get through today. And... this visit to Australia that we just finished in November, Ken and I was just showing Ken a lot of the pictures that I took, and I took pictures of just every plant that I saw. I just stopped. In fact, it was kind of getting on the nerves of our hosts having to stop the car so much. However, they did. They were. It wasn't on the getting on the nerves. It was. We made quite a joke of it. Steve told me at one point that I had 5 more stops left in the day. And so I had to.
That was your limit.
Yeah, my limit. I was limited to 5 stops because we were going places. He had goals to get to places and having to stop all the time. But anyways, it was amazing the plant material, and of course, this is just one little small spot in Australia. Just imagine, Ken, the world. And we when I was in the the world of plants. When I was in the Edinburgh Botanic Gardens, the Royal Botanic Gardens, Edinburgh, they claim to have 2.5% of the world's species in that garden.
Yeah, which is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because there's literally millions of...
Yeah, and they said they have 2.5%. Now that was and that was said right by the guide that was taking us through, and I think I've seen it written down too. So they claim that. That's a pretty big claim, because boy, when I see the stuff, the plants, I mean, it's just incredible, and the shapes and sizes and the diversity of plants, and then you get into the animals, all those marsupials. I mean, they're all so funny. The platypus. Did you know platypus is just a little tiny thing? It's like a little rodent. It's not. I thought a platypus was like a beaver.
Like a beaver.
Yeah, it's not even close to a beaver. It's just a tiny little thing.
Like a little marmot. Or no, it's smaller than that. It's like a...
it's like a small muskrat.
Yeah, like a small muskrat. Yeah, because muskrats are pretty small to begin with.
Yeah, it's amazing. But what an interesting animal! It's got a duck bill. It's got a pocket, and it's got a tail like a beaver. It's just it's just an odd looking. What happened to you? You know, it was just pretty amazing. And of course, the old kangaroo species, all the different wallabies and the different types of kangaroos, and the cute little koala bears, and it's just pretty fascinating.
Pretty cool, yeah.
But Sue and Steve want to come to Canada again, of course, and we're going to see if they've raised the bar pretty high. But. We see these beautiful ocean beaches and the volcanic outcroppings of rock on the beach and whatnot, and the beautiful sand and what. We're going to take a trip up the coast of BC with them. Take a little boat ride up the coast. Yeah. They're going to be just flabbergasted at what they see on BC. I mean, we have just as much that'll amaze them here. A couple of the things that Sue wants to do is go and see the killer whales, and she wants to see grizzly bears eating salmon on the thing. Well, I said, I haven't seen either of those, Sue, and I've lived here all my life. So I think money will buy anything. If we have enough money, we can do anything. We can.
They have to come when the salmon are running.
Yeah, that's right. They have to do it in the fall.
So yeah.
I might just make a nice movie, a 3D movie or something, as a virtual reality movie, and we'll put it on in the, whatever.
There you go.
There's lots of stuff in Canada. We live in a wonderful, wonderful country, and not only with the animal life and the scenery and whatnot. Our plant diversity is fabulous too.
Oh, yeah.
We've got an amazing amount of plants. Speaking with Joe Wilkinson down there, of course, Joe. Spent a lot of time in Canada, in the Okanagan Valley, and he had a beautiful garden. He had all sorts of things growing in there that you normally wouldn't think would grow in there. Like he had an Aralia fatsia that was coming through all the winters, which Fatsia japonica, and he was a real plant guy. And he says, even though the plants that you can grow in Australia, and he's in a little more temperate zone too, are fabulous. He said he still misses some of the things that he can't grow there, that you have to have the cold winters to grow. Because
peonies, for example.
Oh, yeah.
God, how can you live without peonies?
Yeah, that's right. Peonies and there's all sorts of things you can't grow down there that we can grow up here. So there you go. That's the plant life of the plant. Plant envy, I guess it's called. We're going to go back to the phone lines for a quick call from Sandy before we take the break. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning.
I've got some hot pepper plants in my greenhouse that I dug up from my garden.
Right on.
So they're just in their regular garden soil.
Perfect.
Because they weren't ripe yet. So now that they've ripened, the plant is starting to get new leaves. A lot of them fell off. Should I be fertilizing them? Should I change the soil?
How warm are you able to keep the greenhouse?
I don't know. It's just attached to the house.
Attached to the house, and so, you probably go down below 10 at night?
The geraniums are doing great in there, and
they'll
the
be fine.
mandevilla and all that.
The pepper would like it a little warmer, and perhaps that's why you're seeing some leaf drop.
Well, the old leaves fell off. The new leaves are looking great.
Well, if the new leaves are looking good, a little bit of fertilizer would be fine, I think. 20-20-20 or something like that. Very light. Don't be overfeeding it, because Again, you don't want to get those salts. You want to keep the roots active, and if you build up the salts too much, they're not going to...
But do I want to change out of that heavy garden soil for something, or is that okay for until spring?
Well, you got to be a little bit careful. You don't disturb it to the point where it goes backwards on you. I mean, if it's doing okay now, I would probably, Ken. What do you think?
Yeah, and then I would back it up with a little bit of a tiny amount of heat, if it's at all possible. If there's any way you can.
No, it just does what it does.
It just does what it does. Well, then I would just leave it. I wouldn't do anything really special to it. If it hasn't been fertilized since you put it in there, sometimes a little bit of fertilizer can act as a antifreeze in a plant.
Okay.
So if it does absorb a little bit of nutrient, it can store it. This is a unique plant because pepper plants, you can bring them indoors and grow them like a house plant.
Okay. Because I know it won't freeze because my geraniums do great in there all year.
Yeah, we're going to have to go. We hit the post here.
Thanks.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
okay, we're going to take this break, and we'll be back with more AM 1150 Garden Show. Boy, jumped in there a little too quick. Anyway, that's I'm here, and Ken's here. We're here, both here. When you lose a month, I literally lost a month.
Gained a month.
Did I?
Of alternative experience.
Right. Thanks, Ken. But then what about
when
all
you got
stuff?
back, then you realized you got all this work to do.
Yeah, I've been away before for a week, 10 days, even 2 weeks. But, being away for a month off the job in November, if it was January, it'd be a different story. You don't feel like you lost anything. But November's that pick-me-up, catch-up, got to get it done before winter month, right? Usually for
it's
us,
gone already. Yeah,
in our business, right?
Now
so I'm
it's
still
December
in that
for
mode.
you.
I'm still in that mode.
Yeah, it's December.
I mean, it's just right. And so there's a lot of things that I haven't done. I haven't been in the workshop getting ready for Christmas. I've got a couple of landscape plans that are on the table. I've got some a new just recent report for some fire damage that I've got to do. Stuff like that is built up after being away, and the old boy is just, confused. I'm confused. The old boy is confused. So don't put any pressure on me, you guys out there that are planning on phoning me for something. Don't put any more.
But you can phone us right now.
But you can phone us because we're here every Saturday morning. Have been now since 1983. Sitting here answering gardening questions. Getting into Christmas now, there's a few things. Addie's talking about houseplants that's been given to her that she doesn't really want. However, the people that are listening, her friends, are going to say, well, why did we do that? Why did we give Addie houseplants when she doesn't want them?
But she did admit to loving them.
Oh, she's going to love them.
Oh,
she's gonna. This is good. You're going to get her hooked on houseplants now because, plants are plants. Indoors or out, they're plants and they're babies. And I know Addie has that motherly thing for plants.
It's the reason I can't get within 5 feet of my windows.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The passion is there. They build up. They all huddle around the windows in the wintertime, and then in the summertime, they all go outside. Kick them all out.
Yeah.
No plants in the house in the summer.
Okay.
They all go out. Nope.
All outside.
By June, usually it's June 1st. That's when they all go out.
Some in shade, some in sun.
Well, I start them all in shade. I don't want them to go right out into the full sun there. So
no, and that's the thing. Got to harden them off to be out there. I've done that many, many times. I probably burnt more plants than I froze.
Yeah, well, they burn up. Yeah, the leaves, when they're growing indoors, are very, very thin and wispy. They have a thin epidermis. The outer skin is very thin to allow maximum light penetration into the leaf. And then in the summertime, or when they go outside, of course, they're in the bright sunlight, so they have to grow a very thick epidermis to prevent the sun from damaging them. So you literally have to do a leaf exchange, which happens. The old leaves burn off and the new leaves come on, and they're good.
Well, prime example of that, and probably the best test that I've given my plants, and I almost felt like I was being abusive to them, take them from the house, our house plants, saying, okay, now I have a greenhouse. Well, let's put them out in the greenhouse. But this was like middle of August, and the greenhouse was pretty darn hot. There was times when that greenhouse got to 140 degrees practically.
Oh, yeah.
It was really hot. Well, 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit, yeah, not Celsius.
And, really, really hot, 55, 60 degrees Celsius.
That's where a Minimax thermometer, people are thinking about Christmas presents for gardeners, but a Minimax thermometer is something that measures the maximum temperature each day and the minimum temperature of each day and records it somehow. Some of them are mechanical and some of them are digital now, but really cool item for anybody who is a plant person, because temperature is so critical when it comes to growing plants. And when we first started our perennial nursery, we were just growing little cold frames, literally just wooden frame with plastic draped over it. And I would have my Minimax thermometer set up, and it could really, really, really guide you as to what you need to do as far as ventilating and whatnot. But we found that too, that when we had plastic on the greenhouses, as soon as the sun would hit that plastic, the temperature would skyrocket, like you say, up to that 145 degrees Fahrenheit in just a matter of minutes. And so we used to have to be up, watching that sun every day. And as soon as the sun would hit the greenhouse, we would give it a little bit of time, but then start ventilating, slowly letting the cool air in and letting it balance out, trying to keep it in that sort of 70-degree range, especially for hardy perennials that we were growing. It made a really nice environment, actually, I found. But the problem is that we were having really cold nights where it was actually down to -7 or -8 at night. And that's where the plastic over top helped to buffer that as well and kept it to that sort of -4 range. So you can imagine these perennials, these are just standard garden perennials and literally hundreds of varieties, dropping to that -4, -5 at night and up to 145 in the day. Like if you... They still survive. I mean, they're tough as nails. But if you left them or forgot to open the cold frames, they would get incinerated literally from that heat.
Greenhouse effect, and
it is the greenhouse effect.
It wasn't so much necessarily the heat; it's the glare from the sun that burnt those leaves in my greenhouse. And most things, other than the orchids are struggling. But most things that I burnt to a crisp have, in fact, lost all their leaves, and new leaves have started to come on them, and everything. Everybody's happy. But the orchids are struggling. They're still alive, and I haven't thrown them out yet, but I've got 3 of them, and they're struggling.
Yeah, they're not... they kind of just like gradual temperature shifts, nothing that's too extreme. And the sun as well, because orchids are not a plant that grows quickly, they can't just replace their leaves quickly. It's a long, slow process. When you move them into an area where the leaves get burned or suffer from their environment, then it's a long, long battle to get them to grow back. Whereas other plants, they'll just drop those leaves and grow new shoots, and away they go, right? But,
it seems the thinner leafed plants seem to have done that quite nicely. The thin leaf plants can't stand the sun too much, and bingo, they're gone. Orchids generally have a thicker foliage on them. 250-862-2525 to get through to us today on the AM 1150 Garden Show. We're just talking stuff. I'm trying to get into the Christmas mode or the Christmas mood here, Ken. As I say, I lost a month, so now I'm trying to Christmas. Okay, we're just like what 3 weeks away or something? Not even that. It's just creeping up really quickly here.
Yeah. And it's getting close to Christmas because the Nutcracker is playing at the community theater.
We got out and saw the Nutcracker last night.
Yeah, that was fabulous. It was just amazing. I can't believe the complexity of the thing, and they just pull it off flawlessly. Yeah, and it's
and they work hard.
Fun.
They work hard on doing a good job, and they do it fabulous. So they start working on that in September.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. And then some of them. Well, it's a tradition for a lot of people, and I'm sure for even some of the dancers. But wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, I saw the write up in the paper in regards to some of the dancers that joined the Nutcracker as one of the little kids dancing around there, doing a great job, and now taking a lead role. After all these years, they take a lead role in it. So it's really a good thing. It's good for developing dancers. It's good for developing character and dancing and whatnot, and I enjoy it.
And it's sold out every year. Yep. Every year it's sold out. So if you want to go next year, you have to start early and get in there and get those tickets.
Get cracking.
Get cracking. Yeah. Pun intended.
Yeah, you betcha. Okay, 250-862-2525 to get through to us today. And Ken and I are talking all sorts of things, but one of the things we did mention at the beginning was the care of your Christmas tree.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say, well, I'm going to wait till later before I buy my tree. Well, if you're buying your tree from a regular place, a garden center or a box store or any of these places that sell Christmas trees cut, they may be from Oregon, they may be from the coast of Vancouver, but they have been cut for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
So waiting doesn't give you a fresher tree.
No.
If you're and the selection goes. I mean, I remember when we sold Christmas trees, there were
you start with thousands.
You start with thousands,
end up with about 100, and
you get down to 5, and they're still not bad looking. But you know, but when you first start, those guys, those ones that are left, are the ones that weren't chosen. Yeah. It's quite something.
But it's interesting that when they're sitting at the store, they're not in a bucket of water or anything. And that's right. One thing. If you go out and get them, you don't have to put them up right away, but get them into a bucket of water, keep them cool, just like a cut flower. Put them in the garage where your temperatures are maybe around just above freezing or right around there, in a bucket of water. You still make a fresh cut, just a little fresh cut, and you give them nice hot bucket of water to get them to start using the water, even in the garage, and then it can cool down. Then when you're ready to bring them in, you can make another fresh cut, and then bring them in, mount them up, nice hot water, and away you go. Good to go.
Yep. And your suggestion with a little bit of bleach is always good. And that what does that do, Ken?
It just kills the bacteria that form in the little sieve tubes, so it helps to keep the plant functioning. It prevents it from sealing up. And, that's something that's really important.
All right. Well, we've got some calls coming in. Should we take those calls before the break, Sean? Yeah, we're going to take Valley on the line. Good morning, Val.
Hey.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just wondered, do henna chicks usually last through the winter, or I know they come up in the spring, but
yeah, oh yeah, they're hardy. But the hen and chicks plant forms a small plant in the springtime, and it'll grow to a full maturity in that first year, which are usually like 3 or 4 inches across or so, and then they'll overwinter like that, and then the second year they send up a big flower. And then that rosette, that plant part, will again send out some new shoots, and the centerpiece will die. And so then that's the cleanup part, is after they flower, you remove the center of the plants, and you keep the little babies every year.
Yeah, like the tall when the plants, you cut it off?
After it's finished,
yeah, when it's finished flowering. If you like to see, some of them have nice little pink flowers. So many varieties, it's amazing,
you mentioned about the nutcracker. You mean the one in Kelowna?
Yeah.
The ballet? My son is in it.
Nice.
He's a lawyer.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah. So.
Well, a lot of people participate, and that's fabulous.
They're so talented. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's funny how they had last year they had a gentleman from the Vancouver Symphony in it, so they picked the well-known people.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's just, the talent is unbelievable. It's just fabulous.
Well, we appreciate your call.
Thanks.
Thank you for calling in. Take care.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, sempervivums, hens and chicks. They're a great plant for the Okanagan. They take a lot of drought. Are we going to take Rick? We're going to take Rick. Good morning, Rick.
You can have me, fellas.
I can have you. I'm going to take you.
Good morning. You're going to ask me what kind of grass it is, and I don't know. But I have grass growing in the side, and it grows about 14 feet tall. I talked to you fellas last year, the year before, and it's a huge root, and I cut it, and I moved it next to get on with my story. It's still not growing, I don't believe, because it's all a brownish color. It's got huge, big palms like on the end. So I decided, well, maybe I should cut it down. So I took one of the stems, which is probably 3/4 of an inch in diameter. I cut it, and it looked like it's still living inside. And I'm wondering if I leave that up until spring, or whether I cut it. I'm just afraid that if I cut it, I might be cutting something that needs the nutrition, because when I had my lily, I was talking about that. You said, no, don't cut it yet, because it's still growing inside, or not growing, but storing stuff.
Yeah, it just stores energy. We often talk about that. The woody plants in particular store energy through the winter to help them get through the winter. But grasses are a little different story. Obviously, it's turned brown, so it's not an evergreen type grass like a
and
like a pampas or something.
The leaves are also everything on. I shouldn't say leaves; they're about 2 feet long. The grass that grows out.
Yep.
But
spring will tell you, Rick, whether it's going to live or die, and cutting it back would be appropriate now.
Yeah.
Be appropriate now because you're cutting dead stuff off the plant.
Yeah, and even if it looks like it's a bit alive, it could be still a little bit alive. But all the good stuff is in the roots.
Yeah, it's
of
in the
those
roots
grasses.
of grasses. Grasses holding the roots.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I can trim it down. It's been falling down, and I've been putting rope to hold it up because it looks beautiful. But
well, if it looks beautiful, enjoy it. I mean, but it's not going to hurt to cut it down. You know.
Yeah. A lot of people, they either cut them in the fall, just neat and tidy, or they leave them through the winter so they can enjoy the brown colors and the flower heads that blow in the wind. The birds land on them, the snow goes on them, and then the spring, before they shoot, they cut them right down low to about 4 inches tall, and you're good to go.
Good. Maybe that's what I'll do, is just leave it till the spring, because it does look beautiful.
Yeah, enjoy it.
For sure.
You betcha.
Okay, thanks,
Rick. You betcha.
Yep.
Take
Okay.
care.
Bye-bye.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more AM 1150 Garden Show. Right. Well, we're back again, and there's some snow in the hills, but there's nothing down in the low parts of the valley, which is a good thing. We like to see snow in the hills, though, both for the skiers and for the building up our reserves of water for spring. We want to see lots of snow up there, and so that's what we're wishing for. White Christmas up on the hills. White Christmas for a couple of days around on the bottom valley here, and then the rest can go by the wayside. Back in the day, my dad used to take sleigh rides with people on his sleigh with the horses.
Yeah,
and he'd rent his sleigh out, and they'd take groups of people. But back in the day, it was the early. Nowadays there's a lot of liability involved, and you got to have all sorts of insurance and this sort of thing. Back in those days, you just hop on the sleigh and do your thing. Well, Dad had some kind of an accident up on Bankhead Hill. A car hit the sleigh or something, and one of the kids got hurt. Not seriously. Didn't have to go to the hospital, I don't think, but he got hurt. And Dad, that was the last sleigh ride he took. He said, "You know what? If this is going to happen, I don't want to do this. It's scary." But because he used to go right up and down Bernard Avenue and up the Bankhead Hill, and with the sleigh full of horses, and take the kids to and with horses they're a little unpredictable, and you just gotta Dad just got a little worried. However, another dad horse story was, and I got this was told to me by R.J. Bennett. He told me one day, we were talking horses. He said, "It was your dad that got me into horses." He said, He said, when he'd come and plow my dad's garden on Ethel Street there with the horses, team of horses, he says, your dad would sit me up on the horse and let me ride the horse while he's plowing the garden. And I thought, boy, you don't do that nowadays. If you're going to be anywhere, liability would not be good. But it got RJ hooked on horses, and of course, obviously, he's a horse guy now. He and Lois, they're both very into their racehorses. We were actually in Australia during the Melbourne Cup, which is a big race, and we were in a pub, Steve and I, and we decided we're going to make a bet. So we spent, between the two of us, we spent $60 betting on horses, these horses, and the one that we were gonna, it's one of these computerized cards, and you cover in the dots to tell you which horse you're going to. Well, we just stabbed in the dark and took two horses because we didn't know anything about the horses or anything. We thought, well, stab in the dark, pick two horses, and we like their names, and and we'll bet on them. And so when I went up to the counter to put our tickets in, one of the horses came up wrong. It wasn't the horse we bet on, but because I didn't care, I said, well, don't worry, it's mistakes are mistakes. And here, the one that we had chosen won the darn race. They won the race, and we had it to win or to place, and we didn't understand what was going on, but we could have come back millionaires, Ken.
Or at least hundredaires.
Hundredaires might have won $100 or something. Anyway, it was fun, and that's a big deal down there. They all dress up for the Melbourne Cup, and it is a big deal. And it's not just one race. The one race is the big deal, but they have races for 3 or 4 days there. It's an ongoing thing. It's like a big regatta only for horses, and different races. And then of course there's surfing competitions there too, which is kind of interesting. Lots of surfing competitions, and lots of fun. Anyway, we're going during the break. Ken and I are going through these pictures that I took of plants in Australia, and Ken's amazing. He is an amazing man. He does, mind you, when he says this is a phlox, I have to believe him. There's no proof, but just no.
It's hard to say.
I believe him.
It's just when you're looking at flowers, that's how you identify plants is with their flowers, and it doesn't mean they're closely related. They can be distantly related.
Well, as you said too, it's fascinating how plants that we know here, euonymus and various plants here, you got their counterparts visually down there, but maybe genetically they're not connected.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the plants that are from completely different parts of the world, completely unrelated, but yet look identical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen that. A few of the sedums are like that they look exactly like euphorbias, and yet you'll find the same plant on one side of the planet, the same plant, or a completely different plant on the other side of the planet, look identical.
Yeah. Pretty fascinating.
Unbelievable. Unrelated.
That's why we get so excited, Ken and I, on the show here.
Maybe it's boring. I don't know.
and we've got a caller coming in. We want to do that before the break. Dennis. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning, guys. How are you this morning?
We're well, sir. Thank you.
I have an African violet which I've had for 20-odd years. It's in the same pot. It's only ever been repotted in the same pot a couple of times, but when I did repot it, it never had a major root growth on it, so over the last few years I've just never repotted it again, and I don't feed it, but it's in flower virtually 52 weeks of the year.
Nice.
But about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the leaves started to curl on the outside edge, curving down, and it's virtually every leaf on the plant, and I've never seen that happen to it before. Any suggestions?
I'm going to suggest you leach it.
Yeah, it sounds salty.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when I water it, I always take it into the kitchen, and I run the water through it good style for about half a minute or so, and then I let it drain, and then I put it back in the pot.
Nice. Should be good.
It never sits in water, put it that way.
Yeah.
Did it get cool?
Sorry?
Did it get cool, like in other words, cold?
No, I don't use cold water. I just use it tepid, basically.
Well, I just wondered if the plant itself might have been changed its room, like into a cooler room or something like that.
It's in the same spot, on the same table face. It's in a northeast window. It's never been out of that place for 5 years since I moved into this house. So.
Do you ever feed it?
Ever what?
Do you ever give it food, fertilizer?
I've never fed it virtually all the time I've had it.
Okay, well, you might want to feed it because curling leaves, like we're talking about stresses, right? And when you see plants when the leaves curl downwards, especially under, it's telling you the plant's under some sort of stress. So immediately we think, well, root rot or, what's going on. But it's also a sign of a nutrient deficiency. So products like that 20-20-20 fertilizer, just very mild and applied, we were talking about not feeding too much during the winter months, but very, very mild. So I think normally 20-20-20 is about 1 tablespoon per gallon or so. You could go with 1 teaspoon per gallon, let's say. So,
But you think it might be worthwhile doing that now then?
I would say let it dry out so that it gets quite dry between waterings, as you probably should do.
That's what I've always done, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they like. And then as soon as it gets dry next time, you can give it the watering, give it a good soak as you'd normally do with tepid water, and then just a very light application of that fertilizer water afterwards, and then that'll soak in there, and just make sure it's not sitting in water, and you're good to go. And let it go again till it dries out next time. Instead of putting it into the sink, just give it a little bit of that fertilizer water.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Thanks very much for your advice.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dennis, thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
And have a Merry Christmas if I don't speak to you in the meantime.
You betcha.
Merry
and
Christmas.
all the best to you, Dennis. And don't forget, we have our family show coming up on the 23rd.
Listen to it every year without fail, Don.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Fabulous.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dennis. Take care. Yeah, that's it is a interesting thing for sure with plants, and they show these different types of symptoms and
that cupping. I've seen it on African violets before, and I've always associated it with salts, but it could be just, it's interesting how being dry or being too wet can give similar symptoms. People get confused. They come in, what's wrong with my plant? Well, it might be overwatered.
It's either too dry or too wet.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a short break, and we would invite your calls, 250-862-2525, and we'll be back with more AM 1150 Garden Show. On the AM 1150 Garden Show, and we're having a good time here. Ken and I are looking through plant pictures. I mean, nothing like that. Nothing can't be better than that, looking through plant pictures. But, we've got Crosby on the line. Good morning, Crosby.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good.
Great.
Do you have a question for us today?
The question I had is actually kind of relates to the last guy that was on the radio. I have a ponytail and a Dracaena or whatever. Dracaena, I'm not sure to pronounce it, but I repotted them near the end of the year this year because I felt like they were getting root bound, and I know they've probably gone through a lot of stress because I've been also moving them within the house, and my parents, they smoke and they're constantly going in and outside, so there's always a cold breeze coming in. But their leaves have been turning brown, and quite a bit brown.
Right.
I don't know if I've accidentally maybe watered them too much or gave them fertilizer.
Yeah.
But the question I really had is, are you, like, for the ponytail, I've read that you're not supposed to rip off, like, the dead leaf, let the dead leaf stay on?
Yeah, the dead leaves don't really matter. They do naturally sort of fall off. And what I do each spring, I have a huge one. It's about 6-7 feet tall. And Bocarnia, they're called, Bocarnia recurvata. And I pull off all the dead leaves each year, and some of the just ratty-looking ones, but they definitely get this real stringy look. But they are a plant that has a big ball at the base. Bottle palm is another name for them. And they store water in there. So through the winter months, you generally don't water them at all, and just let them go dry.
They're like the camel's back kind of.
Exactly,
plant, right? Where they can store the water.
But they are a highlight plant, so keep them right close to a window.
Oh, okay. And I wasn't sure because I repotted them knowing it was a little bit late in the year to do it, but I felt I had to because they have been in the same pot for about 9 years, and they were definitely getting to the limit, especially the taller guy. He's probably grown in about 4 feet, so I wasn't sure if the stress that also was not helping or anything. So
yeah, they're pretty tough plant. Mine is bursting the pot. It's like every year it bursts my pot. So I put it in a big plastic pot. It's about 30 inches in diameter, but now that pot is stretched to being oval shaped now, and it's about to burst. So in the spring, I'm going to have to do something with it. But that the Dracaena or Dracaena plant is also one that doesn't mind. It actually prefers to be dry through the winter months, but it's also a high light, so you can keep it in the bright light as well. Just make sure they're drying, bone dry between waterings through the winter months.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Is now after I'm thinking about the last time I watered it, I'm just going to let them dry out completely.
Yeah, probably doesn't need water till the end of February at this point.
Oh wow, okay. And I wasn't sure because I thought the ponytail likes to struggle in regards to the root, like to be in a tight pot.
Well, remember that in nature they're outside and they can just grow wherever they want, and they grow to be 25, 30 feet high quite easily. And down in Florida, they use them as landscape plants. They make a beautiful specimen, and I saw many of them with the root balls that were 5-6 feet across, and 30 feet high. Amazing looking things. Keeping
them in a tight pot will sometimes curtail their growth, as Ken said. Plants can get so big that you can't manage them anymore, and some of these plants. I mean, if you let a ponytail palm go to the extreme where it grew like it would in nature, you're going to have a 4 foot wide base to it, and
mine.
Yeah. So keeping it sort of bonsai'd is appropriate as well.
Yeah,
because prospectively, basically they grow above the ground in perspective with the size of the root ball.
Yeah, the root ball is about 50-50, so 50% above, and sometimes even more, like 40 above and 60% below ground.
Okay, great. Then knowing the whole. Wait until around February, so it really gives me perspective on things.
Yeah, and the Dracaena, you can go a little bit more water than that. Like if you stick your finger all the way into the soil and you feel it's bone dry, then give it a little bit of water from time to time. But it really would rather be dry between waterings as well. So
yeah, and right now I have those moisture meter lights from Lee Valley that blink in every minute or so if they need water. So
there you go.
Yeah, well,
they sometimes work, but they can sometimes trick you too. So just be careful with those.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing my mother laughs at me about, because I don't trust them. On the same note, I can't really trust something electronic. We got to go with the plant's point of view.
Use your finger.
We also, I'll tell you, we used to sell one that sang how dry I am. The tone, how dry I am. I forget how the
every
the
time
tune
the
goes.
plant would dry
Every
out.
time the plant would dry out, the plant would sing to you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right,
guys, thank you. I've been listening to you for about a decade, and I love it.
Oh, you
cool.
betcha. Well, thanks for the call. We appreciate your participation.
Yeah,
Thanks,
take care.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. 250-862-2525 to get through to us today, and that was nice. That was Crosby, and we appreciate your call, Crosby. You can get through to us, and we'll answer your gardening questions. We haven't got anybody on the line right now, so I think, Sean, what we'll do is we'll take a short break and give people a chance to call in, 250-862-2525. That way we won't be off track, and we won't be racing at the end to help people with their questions. So if you want to give us a call, you do have time to do it right after these short messages. Hey, you betcha. Well, look at all those people that phoned in. You're going to miss out if you don't phone in soon, because we're going to just about wrap things up today. We've got another about 12, 14 minutes left on the Garden Show. 250-862-2525 to get through to us today. It is approaching Christmas, although it doesn't feel like it to me, but we are getting there, and it'll just come like a ton of bricks. I know it will. And then after Christmas, we start a whole new year, 2018. Who would have guessed, Ken? 2018. My dad, 100 years ago, was just 8 years old. And he was just getting into life. And he remembers back when he was 8 years old in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, coming down the little hill that they had there in the snow on the scoop shovel. He tells me all about those days. They used to ride down the hill on the scoop shovel. And, and so, Weyburn, Saskatchewan, nice and cold, snowy. Dad was 8 years old 100 years ago. And in another 4 years, in 1922, they moved out to Kelowna, and they thought they'd come to Garden of Eden. I don't know I forget what time of year they came, but I think it was in the summer. And they came out and...
be a lot easier in the summer in those days.
Yeah, they came out.
You can imagine trying to travel if you're traveling in the off season.
But I think they were picking cherry. Dad was saying they were picking cherries, and so that would have been summer. And he said they just went out and they were picking cherries and apricots, and he said and peaches.
They thought they were in heaven.
They couldn't believe it. They thought they were in the Garden of Eden, and they came out on the train. And they hired one boxcar to move all their belongings, including the plow and the horse. Well, they didn't bring horses out, but they brought the plows and the wagons and all sorts of farm implements, the mower and the rake and all that stuff, plus all their household furniture, piano.
Wow.
My nephew Brad still has that piano that came across on the train from Weyburn.
Eh? Wow.
And they, once they got to Sicamous, of course, back in the day they came, 1922. Well, maybe the train came to Kelowna at that point. I thought it was 1926 when the train finally came into Kelowna. Before that, they had to put things on the Sicamous, load them from the train, put them on the Sicamous in Vernon, and bring them down, and then put them on a wagon, possibly a truck, and bring them over to the home on Ethel Street where they purchased the property. It was a big deal. It was a big deal back then to do all that, moving from their homestead in Weyburn with their family. And in those days, Kelowna just had a few thousand people here, and my grandfather made a mark. He started a business and field tomatoes and field cucumbers and onions, lots of onions, grew onions. And then in 1932, when Dad was 22 years old, they built their first greenhouse and started growing their own plants rather than buying them for the field. They would grow their own bedding plants, and then they started getting demand. People would say, "Well, can you grow some for me?" And so they, don't have room. We better build another greenhouse. So they built another greenhouse and started more plants for people, and
that's how it all
started.
Wow, that is an amazing story.
Yeah, and. In those days, of course, and I'm thinking of those days quite a bit now with scheduling and whatnot in my little greenhouse. And in those days, they didn't have the climate control that I have. I mean, I've got a Wadsworth controller, and I set the set point, and I can set the differential. So I set the set point on the Wadsworth controller, and I set the set point at, right now I've set it at 15, and I set the differential at 1.5 degrees. So if it goes down below 1.5 degrees, it kicks in. And once it comes back up, it'll go up to 1.5 degrees above the set point, which is 16.5, and then it'll cut out. So it stays in that little...
It's pretty tight
margin there. You know, I'm playing with it because I want to do the most efficient thing. I don't want, like I said, I don't want these tomatoes costing me $20 a piece for heat.
Oh, they will.
Yeah. So
it's not about the
money. We're going to see. I'm waiting with bated breath for our first gas bill.
Yeah.
I'm sure Donna is too.
It's all in good fun.
We'll see what happens.
For results. It's not for efficiency or anything.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm having fun. And in the summer, of course, I haven't got this hooked up yet, but in the summer I'm going to have my cooling mechanisms there. And possibly in the actual heat of summer, I may just empty the greenhouse right out and let her heat up, and then start back in the fall.
You'll have shade cloth or something.
I'm going to try and keep some nice stuff in there in the summer. Keep the greenhouse going. Sure,
shade cloth and ventilation's key. You talked about a swamp cooler at some point, so that's where you have water trickling through some type of a screen device. An actual, there's greenhouse swamp coolers available. Which remember we talked about.
Well, I've got it all set up for that. I got a panel that comes out of the wall. I've got the drum in there already sunk into the ground, ready for the reservoir of water. And I've got the Wadsworth control with 3 more relays on it that can control the speed of the fans and the pump that'll pump the water. And it's just,
it's amazing.
So we're going to go at it. It's going to be fun. And, my big goal now is to get a hold of some vendor tomato seeds or some proper greenhouse tomato seeds and some long English cucumber seeds. So that I can grow that crop. That's going to be the test for me, is to see if I can beat my dad and my grandpa, because I've got their records of when their tomatoes and cucumbers got ripe and ready for the market in the spring. And offhand, I'm just trying to think of it. I think it was the 1st of June was the first tomatoes that came off.
And that's pretty early for sure.
And May 15th was the first cucumbers that came off.
Yeah,
and they did it without gas. They did it with sawdust-fired burners, and Dad would sit out at night with an alarm clock to wake him up every 2 hours so he can stoke the fires.
Yeah.
And
well, I know when I grew greenhouse tomatoes and cucumbers, we seeded, I think, around the 20th of January. That's when we put the seed in.
Okay.
And our goal, I think we had the tomatoes were being picked around the 20th of June. They were outstanding. And the 20th of June, they were like drop dead, unbelievable, gorgeous tomatoes. Yeah. But it was a bit of a struggle, and when I look back, I felt like I was starting them too early. But we did have a boiler system. We had no external lighting.
No lighting, okay.
And no artificial lighting, and that would have been a benefit for sure to getting them started. But it was a cool. Cool thing. When we started the cucumbers, interestingly enough, we bought the special hybridized F1 hybrid cucumber seeds, and I planted them all in and got them all in the bed, and all we'd have to do is set them on that heated bench, and they would germinate literally overnight.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, mice can eat them overnight as well, and that's when I learned that we had mice in the greenhouse because they love cucumber seeds. Oh, yeah. So I remember we had a couple, we had say a 8-foot by 3-foot area that was heated solid with these cucumber seedlings, and we lost probably 65% of them that first night. And they went through and ate them all. And they were worth, I think, about 60 or 70 cents per seed.
Yes, right.
So that was a big investment. And then, so then we screen the thing and put in traps and baits and everything, and they still managed to get in and get a few more. But we ended up with, I think, about 30 plants out of all those, and that was a struggle.
I remember we had some mouse issues too periodically, but not too bad. What we had was Sarah the cat, who would get into the greenhouse and walk through the seedling petunia seedling trays and pick up a blue petunia and put it into the white petunia tray.
Stick it on her toes and transfer these seeds around, and we'd get the odd customer coming in. I bought red petunias and they turned out to be white, some of them, and we just blamed Sarah the cat when that ever happened. Yeah. She was a nice cat.
She was a good cat. We had a few greenhouse cats and kept the mice down. That's why we didn't have mice. We had a greenhouse cat. Yep. And it was a good test, too, for old Sarah, too, for the all our cats. It was a pretty good test with in those days we used more pesticides than we do today. And they were like the canary in the greenhouse, really, but they never died, so it was good. Yep. Well, they eventually did, old age. We've got one more call before we go. We're going to take Mark before we end the show. Good morning, Mark.
Good day. I'd like to know how you go about prepping a canna lily if you lift it out of there. I lifted it out and I got a bit of a clod down around the roots or whatever you call them, and put it in some peat moss, and that's it. But I don't know if that's enough or if it's not.
Keep it cool but not frozen. So find the coolest spot you have in the property, whether it be your unheated garage that's going to, and put some sacking or something over to give it some extra protection, or a cool room or a crawl space. But don't let them freeze
and keep them dry.
Keep them dry. They're pretty easy to look after if you keep them dry.
Okay. Yeah. Do you need any fungicide for that?
Yeah, sometimes a little bulb dust. They carry that in a canister, a little bulb. It's called bulb dust, and might have some Captan or something in there, sulfur or something like that, to help keep a little rot out of there. But if like Ken said, if you keep them dry, they're not going to give you a problem. They're easy to look after.
Be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to store them in dry peat moss.
Yep, you betcha.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Okay, bye.
Yep.
And
bye-bye.
So we are now in the position where we should get our tips and plants of the week off here.
Yeah, we better.
Okay, well, my tip of the week is to do with Christmas trees. Follow the simple, important instructions when bringing in a cut Christmas tree. Make a fresh cut, taking an inch at least off the butt of the tree. And after placing it in the stand, which should have plenty of capacity, fill it with very hot water.
Mm-hmm.
Very hot. Some people say, oh, you can't do that. Oh, yeah, I've done it. I highly recommend it. Boiling water, boil the kettle of water and put that boiling water in there. It melts things down, gets the thing working.
Gets the juices flowing.
You'd think it would kill it, but it doesn't. And as Ken's often said, a little teaspoon or so of bleach in the water.
Very small amount.
Small amount of bleach in the water, and if you do a small amount, you're not going to smell the bleach.
Teaspoon per gallon, actually.
Teaspoon in a gallon, And monitor for water intake, and don't let the water drop below the butt of the tree. If you do, then you're going to have to lift the tree out and recut it, and that's kind of tough when it's full of decorations. Mm-hmm. My plant of the week is the lowly Christmas tree.
There you go. And my tip of the week is remember humidity in the house in the winter months, because the furnaces often do dry the air out. Many of these plants are tropical plants. They love to live in the tropical jungles. You can imagine how humid it is there. So these plants would love to have a little bit extra humidity. So think about little trays or even a little misting bottle. Give them a little bit of humidity is always helpful. My plant of the week is the dragon fruit plant, which is a type of orchid cactus, which can be grown inside, actually. But it's kind of fun if you're out in the supermarket and you see these huge kind of purplish red looking fruits that look kind of bizarre looking, and you'll see the sign says dragon fruit. Give it a try. They're really quite a delicious fruit, and just something interesting. And you can grow the plant from seed, right from the seeds in the fruit. There you go. That's my tips and plants for this week. Remember to check KelownaGardens.com.
And if you want to get on the bus, don't forget, give Sun Fun Tours a call at 763-6133. And my Shigo moment this week is, my quote of the week is, people who have all the answers don't take questions. There you go. We'll see you next week with more AM 1150 Garden Show.